Vanakkam, na Edward, Captain Miller Paratha, Theaterla, Vanda Paranga. Finally TV, subscribe Panninga.
Vanakkam.
Vanakkam, thank you.
Welcome to Tamil cinema.
Nandri.
Officially.
Yeah.
Through a direct Tamil film.
Yeah, this is a great way to start.
So, a lot of passionate actors here, even we find it very hard to crack opportunities. So, tell us about your journey of cracking your very first opportunity.
So I fell in love with India before I ever set foot in this country, like 20 years ago when I first saw a Bollywood film, Lagan. And I'd never seen anything like it. It blew my mind, changed my life. I started watching more Bollywood films. I started, finding out, learning more about India. And it's also the culture and the spiritual energy in this country that drew me as well. I came and visited and traveled a lot first on my first trip. But the next trip I came 2 years later, 16 years ago, to seek my fortune in Bollywood because I felt I want to live in India, and I've always wanted to act professionally, although I had only done it, like theater and through college and stuff. I'd always had that acting dream. It'd always been a part of my life, but I'd never done it professionally. And I realized now's the chance to, chase two dreams of acting in films as well as living in India. And so I came to Mumbai to do that. I had already started, teaching myself Hindi and stuff to be useful, and it came in very handy. I was two main villains in a hit TV serial, Jhansi Ki Rani, about Rani Lakshmi Bai.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people in Tamil Nadu also tell me that, they saw it as kids, they grew up with it, either watching the Tamil version or even the original Hindi version. So that was kind of how it started, and then I moved more into films and became, it became what I do, as a profession. So I feel very blessed, very fortunate that it's happened, and it was a calculated decision, to answer your question, that there would be a niche for me, a place for someone like me in that industry in Mumbai. As a foreigner, a foreign face, there are roles, especially if I already speak Hindi, I already understand some of the culture. So I realized that was, something I could do. It wasn't just a complete leap of faith. It was a calculated leap of faith.
So, you prepared yourself completely.
Yeah, I prepared myself, and I also realized, this is kind of crazy to do, but I also realized there's a reason and a logic for it.
I can understand that Lagan is your starting point towards India. Was Lagan also your starting point towards cinema?
Yeah, I realized, this is an amazing film. I would love to be a part of, something like that. And it made me realize too right away that, okay, this historical drama genre, is there in India, and that's a role that I can fill as, by playing British colonial characters, usually negative, but not always, but yeah, usually. And so it was something I realized, I think, already then, that was sparked in my soul, that this was something that, I'm going to do. I just knew it.
Passion takes us to an extent. Passion helps us travel to an extent. But then the uncertainty of being an actor in the movie industry.
It's inevitable.
Of course, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
Has it ever affected you?
Usually I enjoy them. I like having some time, down. I enjoy working, really hard for a while, and then, as is the case in this industry, you don't always have work, you have time. And it's given me an incredible, life so far where, my career is there, and, but at the same time, I have that time. I have that time with my family. My wife, we met 16 years ago in Mumbai. We have a 11-year-old son, and so I really value the time that I have with my family that, not everybody gets when, they have to work, every day. I mean, I have to travel a lot, but I'm home a lot too, and it's really been, the best of all possible situations that I can imagine. So I feel very lucky. Yeah, the downtime doesn't bother me. The uncertainty is something also I'm just pretty, comfortable with. I'm not someone who worries too much about the future, maybe to a fault. I don't always plan, so well maybe for the future. But the flip side, the upside of that is that I'm not someone who, stresses or worries about the future. I just feel like, it'll come, it'll be all right. No, like I said, it's something that I'm able
Manage it.
to manage it. I don't stress too much about the future, so that has that has positives and negatives,
Yeah.
and I feel like the positive is that it doesn't, I don't worry too much about where the next project's coming from. Somehow I've just learned to trust that it does come when it needs to, and there's people around, you know, in this industry that always coming up with ideas, and there'll always be opportunities, and I work as hard as I can, I do as much as I can, and just stay prepared for the opportunities when they come.
I wanted to discuss this exact scene, and when I found this picture on Instagram, I decided we need to discuss this scene.
Great, great. Yeah, yeah.
This one. Tell us about facing this fierce tiger, NTR.
Yeah, that was an exciting shoot that night. We had to do it several times where I, turn around suddenly to run after him because I think
Yeah.
he's run off somewhere, and it turns out, he's after me, and so then we're face to face, and just to get the focus and everything just perfect. I had to hit really fast that exact spot. And Rajamouli sir, everything he does, he needs it exactly the way he's imagining. Every little thing he controls. Sorry, we had to do, many, many takes. And, Junior NTR is like such a cool guy, even despite the fact that he's so, massively famous and popular. He was very patient too, because I think everyone on that set knows we're working with Rajamouli, so we're gonna have to do a lot of takes. It's gonna take a lot of trial and error. So we eventually got it, but I forgot. I mean, just like over and over again, I'm like, getting killed.
So, what was your most favorite scene from Triple R as an actor?
I was quite happy with the whole climax scene where, leading up to that moment that you
Yeah,
just showed
yeah.
me, because I just love the way that that chaos all around, the way it was shot and edited. I just think it was just built up beautifully. How, we don't know what's going on around the British
Yeah.
people. We don't know what's going on. We don't know where they're all coming from. There's only two guys, and yet they're just destroying us. That feeling of helplessness and that terror that's building more and more. I felt like, the performances, my performance, and everybody's, and the technicians, everything was just came together really nice in that scene. So that would be my favorite. Yeah, that scene leading up to, where
This moment.
that moment you
That
showed
moment.
me.
Oh, okay.
So we're in the forest. We're trying to track down,
The presence of
Beam,
Beam. Yeah.
right? And everything. So that build up through that scene, as more and more of my men are falling, and I don't know where it's coming from. And he says he says, Edward, you know, I promised my father, that I would. I don't remember the line, but he says my name, he freaks me out, and then it continues, on and on, where eventually, it's like, where it's leading. I mean, everyone knows I'm not gonna get out of this, right? And
Especially from Beam.
yeah, I'm not gonna escape. And as a viewer, you know that, and yet the way it's done,
The tension.
the tension is still built up. You're like, how's it gonna happen? And even at the moment it happens, you don't realize that it's already happened. I love how, you just see us facing each other, right? And I'm just freaked out,
Yeah.
and he's just Beam. He's like he's fierce. And then in the next 2 seconds, you see the next shot, which shows what's actually happened. He's actually impaled me on his spear. So I love that. That was just a really, really brilliant way of dying is one of my favorite death scenes. I mean, Captain Miller is a whole other level of a of a defeat that I look forward to getting everyone's reaction on. I think you might even like that one better
Uh,
than what you showed me.
Tell us about facing Captain Miller. We spoke about
Yeah.
facing the fierce tiger beam. Tell us about facing Captain Miller.
Yeah, same intensity, the same kind of professionalism and the energy and the of working with someone who's not just a star but just such an actor and a great professional. So he's not like a method actor where he's in character off camera and when takes art, but he is very focused, and it's not like we would just like chill or joke around or something. It was like we kept that distance, and it helped us kind of maintain that equation which we had in the film, which is enemies on the battlefield. So when we're doing when we're doing shots and we have to like figure something out and talk to each other, he's very you know very thinking really like deeply about the
Shah?
scene and stuff. Yeah, Dhanush sir.
Ah,
Yeah, and he's very soft spoken, he's very kind, he's very gentle, I feel, as a person. And then as soon as action is called, it's a whole other thing. So I found that what I need to bring, as the adversary of a hero like this, is just not necessarily to be as intense or anything, but to bring, my strongest version of my character, and just bring as much of what I am best at
ah.
in that character. And I feel like between myself and Arun Matishwaran, the director, we cracked a really nice character in my Captain Wendy that I feel like he's gone to another level from my previous roles and my previous evil British characters. I've done so many evil British antagonists that you run the risk of just kind of repeating the same thing. And
True.
I do try and always bring something new to each one. But I feel like what I've been able to do, thanks to the director here, is really take it to another level where he is not what you would expect, a villain like this to be
See,
against a hero like this.
while talking about Captain Miller, you said director Arun Matheswaran and you together cracked something for your character, right? Let's discuss about one scene where you were able to implement that knack into the character, which made you very happy and satisfied.
Yeah. It was really a process like day to day. I would say I prepared and I had an idea of where I'm going with this character before I started shooting, but then the day of my first day of shoot was when I really felt like, okay, well, let's see what is going to happen. Because no matter how much preparation you do with a director, with a direction team, until you actually start shooting and they start seeing you on the monitor and seeing how it looks, then everybody comes to know like kind of what is really needed, or what the director really wants and all that. And it might be different from what I thought. What he's getting might be different from what he thought, but he might like it more. You just don't know until that first day of shoot. So there's always butterflies on the first day, because you don't know if it's gonna click, no matter how great it's been clicking until then with the discussions and all that. And it was. And so the first day was like that at first, where, okay, let's see what happens. I'm going to do what I want to do here. And it just kind of flowed nicely on the first day. I got to say there was very little adjustment that
The director wanted?
Arenbro had to make, and we went with it. Basically, what I was looking for was a kind of a quiet and yet menacing presence that would not try and be like violent, not try and look violent, but to actually be responsible for that violence while I'm just, like I'm just doing anything, like I'm just having my lunch, but actually I'm, trying to massacre a village, right? It's a whole kind of attitude that
Authoritative feel.
yeah, authorities there, but also a kind of nonchalance, but also a little bit of craziness too. So let's see. I mean, I'd love to know how you feel
I think we are going to
about my
witness
performance.
that craziness in theaters.
Yeah, yeah. I think I just didn't. I just wanted a little drop of that, and I think what I feel is that we cracked it pretty nicely.
What is your defining scene in Captain Miller as an actor that you are really looking forward to witness in theaters along with us?
Yeah, just look forward to my entry.
Ah,
I feel like that was my chance to really establish. It wasn't the first scene I shot, but I felt like it was actually the last day of shoot of my schedule. We were in Uti, and I felt like, okay, this is my entry scene. And so I really wanted it to convey and set
establish the character.
establish the character in the audience's mind, so that they understand like what they're in for, and give them a taste. And I feel like that I feel like it happened, just to the right degree, without giving away too much about what he's up to, but just to kind of give them the vibe of this character, and so I was quite happy with that actually.
Tell us about the action sequences of Captain Miller. Were you actually involved in the action sequences?
But this was also a project where I was involved in a lot of the action, and I got harnessed up and was on the ropes and all that more than once. A lot of explosions, a lot of gunfire, a lot of running, chasing, being chased. It's all there. Injuries, amazing prosthetic makeup. So just really looking forward to
Must have been exciting for you.
yeah. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to being able to share it with y'all, because it's really something else.
Even with the safety harness, even with the ropes, in our minds, we might have one moment of fear or one moment of doubt, right? Just before they,
Of course, yeah. So, but as an actor, you're not supposed to, show that you're expecting, that you're anticipating
yeah.
that yank or that explosion, right? So, I guess that's what acting is all about. Just pretending that you're not expecting.
Your relationship with India is not just restricted to films. You even got married to an Indian.
I did,
Yeah.
yes.
And you also call yourself the luckiest boy in Bombay. Why is that?
Yeah, I just feel so lucky. I've got just an amazing marriage to an amazing woman that, in more ways than I can even begin to tell you, make me feel like the luckiest boy in Bombay. We've got a great family. We have an 11-year-old son, and I never dreamed before I came to India that I would, actually get married and have a family and have a career like this. So I really credit a lot of my success, if not all of it, to her and her support, and her guidance and all that. She's also from the industry, so it's definitely been the thing that makes me the luckiest boy in Bombay.
Tell us your love story. I mean, how did it happen? We spoke about your acting journey, but how?
Sure. I mean, she's a director, and when I first came to Mumbai, the first job I got actually was one that she was directing. It was a print ad that she was doing some advertising jobs back then at that time. Although she's worked in feature films also as a director, and yeah, I mean, long story short, we just hit it off, and I was I was very interested just in her. There was this joyfulness, this kind of the way that she was eating her lunch actually during the shoot when we broke for lunch and all that, and just enjoying the food and talking about it. And we were talking about just Hindi films and stuff. And I just felt like this is someone who really just enjoys everything about life and has a lot of that kind of juice and energy. So I was just feel really lucky I got to marry her.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your love and support. உங்களுக்கு இந்த வீடியோவில் என்னெல்லாம் பிடிச்சது என்னெல்லாம் பிடிக்கல அப்படின்றத யூடியூப்பில் இந்த வீடியோ கீழே கமெண்ட்ஸில் சொல்லலாம். அது மட்டும் இல்லாமல் ஃபேஸ்புக், ட்விட்டர், இன்ஸ்டாகிராமில் ஃபைனலி டிவி அடுத்தடுத்த அப்டேட்ஸ்க்கு ஃபாலோ பண்ணுவோம். தேங்க்யூ. மறந்துட்டேன் பாருங்கள், ட்விட்டர் கிடையாதுப்பா, எக்ஸ்லேயும் நாங்கள் இருக்கோம்.